Which one of these domains is your brand? Which one of these is your brand? What link do I click on? Hey, Chris Zuiker with Media Options, help companies to acquire the raw version of the brand, brokers on the best domains on the planet. Check that out over at MediaOptions.com. Check out ChrisZuiker.com. We do daily podcasts. I had a long podcast today. It was like 20 minutes. It was actually my longest podcast. And it wasn't on domaining. It was more personal frames and games and negotiating and just kind of some philosophy. So you might enjoy that. Go check that out, ChrisZuiker.com. Anyways, the topic today is this. So which one is yours? Which one is yours? What I'm talking about here is global positioning. Global positioning is actually kind of industry positioning. And I'll just do a little backtrack here. So when I first started out into the domain world and I was like researching, like, okay, why are domains important? How do I sell these? And how do I communicate the value to companies? And how do I communicate, and see which domains have value? And like, what is that value? What should it sell for? And what should it sell for, right? And people are coming to us saying, well, okay, can you praise this for us? I had to develop like this frame in how I view domains. And so what was out there at the time, and still out there quite a bit today, is that, domain names are like premium property in New York, right? The thought that like they're property, and they are property, it's digital property, but it didn't really hit the heart of why domains are important. And so I developed the 7 dimensions. I shouldn't say develop it, I just kind of discovered it and kind of packaged it in a way that made sense, in a way that I can communicate with people and companies and founders and sellers of domains why domains are important, okay? Why and how they interact with your brand. And one of these, and the first one, is called global positioning, and that is how your brand relates to all the other brands that are out there in the marketplace. The second one is industry positioning. And I'm going to talk about these two. And that one's branding and marketing. So I'm talking about kind of these 4 today, although they're all interchanging. There's SEO, there's email security, the ability to scale. Okay, so they're all there, okay? But specifically, it's like this thought of global positioning. Now, in this case, there's a company that came to us, and it's a local company. Like, they're kind of really like state and really kind of let's say they're in a city, okay? It's a city, it's a, they're in the design space, in the building space. You could say insurance space, say whatever you want, right? But in this case, we'll just say design. I don't want to give too much out, but they're in the design space, okay? And they had a brand that they launched on, and their brand that they had created at the time just really didn't have meaning for them today, okay? It was something that it just kind of organically came about, it stuck. But as they grow and as they're more successful, it's like, okay, well, what is this thing that we did? It doesn't really relate to the mission and the ethos in a more powerful way. We have customers saying, well, hey, okay, what is that? I can't remember that. And so they realized they had a problem with their branding, realized the problem with their domain name, because no one could I guess they were having issues with their marketing, issues with just communicating the brand to people. And so they went on this journey to find a new brand, and they came up with a keyword, and this keyword was very meaningful for this company. Now, the challenge is this, okay? So the 5 buyer types. You have hobby, you have regional, solo, you have national, legacy, you have Bible, scalable, then you have the high rev entrepreneur, okay? So the 5 different buyer types. The problem is these lower buyer types, okay? I shouldn't say lower, but lower on the scale of being able to spend money. They still want to own like the essence of what their brand is, okay? So let's say I use Carrot, I love Carrot. Don't know the guy. I'd love to talk to the guy at some point. I think just neat that he got carrot.com, okay? It represented the mission and the ethos for what his brand was, right? He's Carrot, right? He wasn't on Carrot. He rebranded. Take that to any brand that you want, any keyword that you want, but it's this essence. So like the hobbyist, the regional, the national, right? The legacy, guess what? They want to own this. They want to own this too, okay? But they can't own it because they're not going to spend $500,000. They're not going to spend $1 million, right? It wouldn't make sense. It's like maybe what they do profit-wise in a year, or maybe it's 2 years, so it wouldn't make sense, or 3 years, or 10 years, whatever, would make sense for them. So by default, they have to come up with some kind of like combination, okay? So they may call themselves that keyword. It could be quilt.com, right? It could be quilt, right? And they can't get quilt.com, check it out, it's Media Options, but they have to do something else, okay? And so the question is what do you do? Like if you're in this situation, what do you do? Like, do you put a descriptor on it? So let's say design, insurance, media, let's say build, just pick your industry, machining, homes, do you do something like that? Or do you do the get, the buy, the try? What do you do, right? And how far down that rabbit hole do you go? Do you do a dash something? Do you do like 2-3 words to describe it. Now, here's the interesting thing. Okay, this is where global positioning comes in play. I'm gonna try to end this in a second here so that it's easy to upload. But global positioning, like one of the things that I would say to do is just like research, your brand, like your keyword. In this case, like when we researched, it was like, wow, there was literally probably 15 or 20 companies that had the same idea as this guy. Okay, this person. Okay, this company, same idea. And so when I got on the phone, I was like, I really like would recommend that you do something different here, because what's going to happen is that you're going to have this massive confusion with these other companies. They're like literally the same thing. Like this keyword descriptor .co, .com, .ai, .io, .org, right? Dash something, keyword descriptor. I mean, it just went on and on and on. It was like, wow, this is like, I like never, like, I know it's a cool keyword, but wow, okay, this is really saturating the space. And so in this case, like they would never own their global position. It wouldn't even be close to their global positioning, right? And I hear a lot at this time, well, we're going to do SEO. And it's like, no, you're going to pay a lot for SEO, and that SEO is not going to help you get global positioning. Like, you're going to pay so much money in SEO to get on that global positioning. Just buy the keyword domain at that point, okay? Just buy it, take it down. SEO is reliant on that algorithm change. Like, you're one algorithm change away from being destroyed, okay? Don't do it. Like, think about this. Anyways, so like global positioning is super important. And in this case, it's like, what do you do? Okay. And one of the things I recommended was to do like two words, maybe it's two like different words that come together, like red apple. I'm trying to think of some other ones. I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head, but there's something like that like it's clearly two different words that came together, and that's your brand. Okay. That's your brand. So you can still keep the essence of it, but it's like, maybe even use like, a color, like a red, yellow, something else in your brand, but that becomes your brand. Okay. It's not the keyword, but your brand then becomes two words. Listen, it's complicated. Branding's complicated. I'm actually going to want to start up a series, and I just want to interview like the top 10 branding agencies and just kind of pick their head, just more curious, like learning on my side. I know domains, I know the impact. How does this relate? And how do you create this seamless interaction? Because I think one of the places where branding agencies miss out is they have no idea about domain names. And I mean, sometimes leave their clients on a goose chase. The best ones don't. But the mediocre and say the poorer ones, they do that. But I want to interview the best branding companies, some key people, and just really try to understand it more and share that with my audience here. Anyways, went long. Hope you enjoyed this. Share it up if you did.